My name is Erik Buenaflor. Currently living in San Antonio, Texas. Master with Siete Pares Escrima. Been with Siete Pares since 1996. Prior to that, I wrestled in high school. I did Tang Sudo and I did CHA3 Kempo Karate for a brief time. Started learning the Eskrima by Bert Labor-Labitan. I met him. I basically met him while on duty. I was with San Diego Sheriff's Department K9 unit, and then while I was looking for a suspect's gun, who threw a gun from a drive-by, I just ran into them training in their front yard. And I asked, hey, well, could I search your yard for one? And then, so I didn't know they were a bunch of immigration officers and this and that, so they did have guns on them, so they secured theirs. I searched the area, searched his yard, and then I asked him, hey, could I come back and talk to you? So once I searched, we found the gun in some other property a block away, and then came back and started a conversation with Grandmaster Bert Labor-Labitan, and from there we started off. And I asked if I could train with him, and he told me to come back, you know, tomorrow. And I trained with him for a half hour, and he said, you know, are you scared of the knives? And because we used to train with machetes right off the bat, and I was like, no. And he goes, well, why not? Well, when I was a kid, my dad used to put me and my brother in the living room and put a knife in the middle of the living room floor, and I was probably in 5 and my brother was 7, and he used to make us fight for that knife. You know, it was a rubber knife, but it was in the 70s. It was a hard plastic knife, so we tried to stab each other. So he would watch us do that to each other. So I wasn't very scared of the knives. And then, so the next day he goes, you know, Bert was like, hey, come back tomorrow. You could train with. So I got to train with him a little longer, and then once he saw me train with him for that extra hour, then he said, okay, you could come back. So that's when I started training with them, and I started training with them pretty much every day almost for a few years, you know, and until I moved to Texas in 2005. But I was with them. I trained exclusively with Bert. I didn't learn from any of the other masters. It was just me and Bert one-on-one. A lot of people came and gone, and I still was there. One day, after a few years, Bert was like, hey, what are you doing this Saturday? I was like, nothing. And he would go, okay, well, you're gonna test for your belt. I go, what belt? He goes, a black belt. So we had a potluck at the park, and his sons jumped me, and I took a nice beating, and you know, I made black belt from him, and you know, one of the last times I saw Bert, he basically nominated me for the USA Martial Arts Hall of Fame, and so I flew in from Texas and got to see him and talk to him, train with him a little bit. He was in bad health, and I went to the LA and got that honor of USA Martial Arts Hall of Fame, and then I left, and then a week later he passed. So once that happened, I kind of devoted myself where I'm going to start teaching Siete Pares, and that's what I've been doing ever since. Bert Labor-Labitan taught me 30 SINAWALIS, and SINAWALIS are just basically patterns. Well, after he taught me the 30, I was required to learn or to bring in another 5 SINAWALIS. So now there's 35 and up to me. I'm about to promote a black belt, and he's required to bring in another 5 SINAWALIS that he has developed. So then we're at 40. So the system will continue to grow, but everybody will have the same 30, but then different schools might have a little bit different when 30 and up. So in regards to SINAWALIS. So in our system we do have different styles of SINAWALIS. We have flowing 7, magnificent 7, we have batangas, numerados. So there's different styles within our system. I'm going to just show you one. We're more of a bladed style. I'm going to show you, this is number 9 of our system, and it kind of incorporates the blade where there's a sock and a high and low strikes. So I'm going to do that right now. So sock, or a best, low strike, backhand. Sock, or a best. So another thing we do is we try to limit the moves, make it quicker. So this is our number 2, where it's a high, low. Okay, so when I strike, I should be coming down, but I'm always keeping a guard up high. So even though I'm delivering the strike here, this hand should be ready in case someone comes behind you and strikes you, or that you're always ready for head strike. You're always blocking your head. So people tend to forget. So a lot of people, you'll see a lot of this. They're leaving their head unprotected. Believe me, you can get hit in the body several times, but once you get hit in the head, you're done. So that's why when I see a lot of the weak half and stuff like that, there's no defense, no one's protecting their head. So we kind of try to do a different set of rules in the tournaments I run, where once you get hit in the head, it's done. That way it allows you to not have a false sense of safety if you're not protecting your head, because you're always you're wearing equipment. So these guys tend to fight reckless and don't block their head and whatnot. So I always make sure that you're always blocking your head, your face. So that's one of the important things in Siete Pares is defense. So, and then with us, the defense is the offense. If someone's going to strike, overhead strike, I'm going to strike their hand at a distance. Okay, so I strike their hand. I'm not just blocking the stick. So, but I'm also not striking here, because if he's trained, he's going to keep that wrist moving and strike you in the head. So you do want to, bam, strike here, strike in the hand. And with our system, we practice with 2 sticks right off the bat. We don't learn 1 stick and then after a while you've advanced to 2 sticks, because if you don't train with 2 sticks, you don't learn your hands to move. You don't get your hands moving together. And so you'll see a lot of this. You know, they'll fight like this and whatnot. So in regards to number 9, do number 9. So start on the left. So here, okay, should still be able to do number 9, okay, but with 1 stick. So with us, you have to learn 2 sticks, single stick, empty hand, bow staff, and learning that one number 9. Okay, so that's how we make sure everybody's learning the same thing and that everybody's able to use their single hand. Because if you're fighting and you see a lot of checking, if I'm going to practice, I want to touch his hand, I don't want to touch me. So you have to get used to fighting with, you know, your hand out here. Okay, and I don't mean I've fought guys that will do this. Every time they do that, I smash that hand. I try to break their hand. Okay, if I'm gonna put my hand out, I want to check first and then move it. Okay, but I don't want to just or put my hand or just stop it right here, because if he's a good fighter, he's just gonna keep the wrist moving and hitting my head. Because even if I block here, he should still be able to hit me. Okay. by Abuniku, whatever. So just because you got touched, I'm still gonna get you, okay? So if you block my hand here, okay, I should still be able to strike. So that's why we always try to stop the stick also, okay? I'm trying to continue to teach Siete Pares how he would teach it, not adding a bunch of fluff and everything like that. Siete Pares has always been simple, direct, and to the point. We don't have a lot of fancy techniques. We don't have a lot of, you know, when people talk about their Eskrima or our Eskrima, they ask, do you know this, do you know that? Well, you know what, if we knew if we knew everything that everybody knew, then what's the difference? We should all be one name, but everything's different. So how we train, how we deploy our skills and how we use them are different than everybody else. You know, we don't have a lot of fancy disarms. You know, one of the things, or footwork, one of the things that Bert used to tell me was, you know, you don't need a fancy disarm, just hit him until he drops the weapon, you know. So, and then when I asked him, hey, you know, everybody else has this fancy footwork and, you know, this numbering system and the V and all this other stuff, he swings this stick at me, like hard, swings it at me, and I get out of the way, and he goes, well, what do you need to learn? You know how to get out of the way. You know, you don't need all this fancy footwork, just get out of the way, don't cross your legs, don't hop, don't, you know, just get out of the way as quickly as you can without having to compromise your position. So it's been rewarding. So that's where we're at right now, and we have a group in San Angelo, Texas, and my group in San Antonio, and then we have another group might get started up in Dallas. So that's where we stand right now on the Texas side. We're doing tournaments. A lot of people are kind of wanting to learn from, once they see our system, they want more information and stuff like that. So we're getting a lot of steam heading up in Texas right now. We just got to put a little bit more effort on our end to try to accommodate everybody. So it's been rewarding. So in regards to Bert, he's Visayan, and you know, he would always have little stories about how growing up in Visayan and how he used to go swimming all the time and fishing, and he had a lot of great stories of his childhood, but he wasn't, you know, they weren't rich or anything, so he had to work. And, you know, before joining the Navy, you know, he did train with Babao, and then he was sent to the Philippines again as a, you know, in the Navy. And that's where he met Labor, Grandmaster of Siete Pares. Bert did a demonstration for, you know, a fiesta, and once he was done with the demo, he was approached by Labor, who said he liked what he saw, he just needed to refine it, and he could teach him the Siete Pares system. So he basically trained with Labor while he was stationed in Subic Bay. Labor was a trike driver, you know, but before that, with Labor was a Eskrimador that there was, prior to Labor, there was 7 brothers that fought lance, fought stick, fought different styles. Each brother had a different style of their technique. And then at the fiesta, Labor showed up in Lilo, in the Philippines, and beat all 7 brothers. And this was before the war. And one of the brothers passed away during the war, and after the war, they asked Labor if he would join. He would be one of the 7 brothers, because they lost one, and so he basically joined with them, and that's how Siete Pares started. Well, with Labor, you know, he became basically the lead of the 7 brothers. because he defeated them before, and then that's how the Siete Pares came about. And then to gain money, Labor left Lilo and to Subic Bay to earn a living, and that's where he met Bert Labitan. Labitan did his time in the Navy, and then also was an immigration officer. After the Navy, became an immigration officer. So after the Navy, he became an immigration officer, and then that's basically how he made a living. And then he would train people in his front yard. That's how I met him. And then later on, he moved to Imperial Beach in the park in Imperial Beach to teach people. And then we used to go to Tijuana to help train the Red Dragon Kempo school in Tijuana. I used to go with them to teach those guys Siete Pares Escrima. So right now we have 4 Grandmasters. One's called Brother C. He's in his 80s, and then we have Ernesto. He's the Grandmaster Red Dragons in Tijuana. And then we got Joe Garon and Nelson Estrella. He's all 4 of the current Grandmasters of Siete Pares. Okay, one of the systems we have within the Siete Pares is the alphabet. One of the things that Bert taught us is the alphabet. You could do every strike, every angle of attack through doing the alphabet. Okay, and I'll for example, A. That's an A. So I did almost every single angle of attack by just doing the letter A. Okay, B. Strike down. Okay, strike. B. C. Or the opposite way, D. Or I could go D. There's no rhyme or reason how you do it. It could be D, strike, D. Okay, E. Low, middle, high. Low. That's an E. F. G. It could be G this way. H. I. J. K. L. M. N. But all those letters could be done different ways, start at different points. Okay, my M came from the side down the middle. Okay, it could start in the middle. It depends what the individual is doing. If he's throwing a kick, okay, then he's throwing a strike up. So it can be done in any way, as long as it looks like an M. O. Q. So different letters. A Y. So my Y comes here, then straight down. A W, I could do the sides first, and then the middle. Or I could do the middle, and the sides. So that's how we do it. You could do it with the knife, you could do it with the stick, you could do double stick, where an A, B, okay. As you saw, it looks more like a dollar sign, but still a B. Okay, so I came through here, C, or C, D, E, F. So 2 sticks is also a great way to learn it. So that's one of the good techniques that we have. So that's how we do the alphabet with 2 sticks and a single stick. The karamba is an Indonesian weapon, but we could also use it for in the alphabet. Okay, A, Okay, A. So A, B, C. Okay, so it's also used in the same way, E or E, but you don't have to start here, then here, then here. You could start anywhere. So I could come across here, depends how the individual's attacking. So what we like to do is make sure that you strike a person high, medium, and low. Okay, so we like to hit the whole body, not just head hunt, or also look at the upper extremities. No, Bert said that, you know, you can hit me in the arm, you can hit me in the leg, but it's gonna hit me in the toe is what's gonna hurt the most. Okay, so it's one of the techniques. Thank you. Once again, my name is Erik Buenaflor, Siete Pares Escrima. It was a pleasure being able to speak with you guys. I'm out of San Antonio, Texas. My number is 210-367-1877. My Facebook page is Siete Pares. And then also my regular website is sieteparestx.com. Be a pleasure to hear from everybody, and I hope I was able to show you what Siete Pares is like and what it's about. Hopefully we'll grow in the near future, but also we've been around for a long time. It's just we've been underground for so long. My main purpose of doing this is to honor my grandmaster Bert-Labitan, who taught me the system. He passed away, so I'm just trying to spread the word and of Siete Pares and the great techniques we have and system. Thank you very much.